Hey, Crisito, thanks for that comment.
Every day we are hosting the Cosmic Stream STFC Briefings. It's the ultimate gleam. Tune in for tips and tricks galore, news updates and so much more. Exciting.
Hey, hello, Dave.
And interviews to STFC.
Yes, thanks, Jossie.
Just for you.
Right, let's crack on. Let's go. Welcome, everyone, to STFC Briefings, the voice of the players, the podcast for Star Trek and Fleet Command the game. We're going to discuss the comp test that just came out. Is it exciting? Is it good? Is it great? No one knows. Why is lag happening the way it is? Jules Verne will be giving us detailed updates of why lag is not working. He'll be giving us mechanical things that are really complicated, no one will understand, but we will try and figure it out, and Quasar will try and then make a chart of them and see where we go here. So crazy starts us off by saying, what about the lag comp? The lag comp is going to be fantastic if it comes out. There's loads of things that I think they've done right. I'm glad they listened to the advocates to get that comp test out. Major thanks to all the CCs that got involved, that have done a really good job in getting that to happen. It's been a week-long battle, but we got there at the end. Yes, I understand the major issue here, which is it's 1,400 fragments for 71 plus, 1,200 fragments for 71 under. And everyone's like saying, well, I lost all that time and I lost all that thing. I'm like, guys, they gave us a $100 pack, basically. That's what it is. When you calculate it, it's a $100 pack. Sniper, thoughts? It's about $100 if you 500 a day. That's a $100 pack, right? Ish. It's close.
Yeah, I think it is. I think, like I mentioned, I think from what Scopely usually does for a comp chest, it's a fairly generous give, especially considering it's broadly applicable and given out to the entire player base, right? So it's equivalent to giving, the entire player base those, including players that might not otherwise play surges or even be involved in surges will have it. I think, the interesting thing is that if we look at it from the perspective of like a super active player, who can keep their surges refinery filled every day.
Yeah.
It's not going to necessarily save them, except maybe it can save them time if maybe they can skip surges the next week if they wanted to and save their surge starts. From that perspective, the one thing that I would generally say from a future perspective, one thing that would be good, and we had this similar when we got comp chest for waves and things like that, is I think there should be at least a slight, and I know this is not something they often like to do, but aside from the comp chest, like a temporary moratorium on cooldown, right?
Yeah.
And I think that would solve a lot of the things that people are looking at, right? And if they can, even for 24 hour no cooldown, right, then they can burn off those 1,400 refines, right? But that being said, like I said, it's it is overall more than I think most were expecting.
That is true. I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say if someone's been saving 2,000, they got the 1,400 and you remove the cooldown, and suddenly they can now completely replenish. You've just given someone serious power to be able to update it, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's the challenge, right? Like if there's got to be a balance there, because you're right. If somebody has like a super active alliance and they're getting those credits like wild, right? Then they would essentially be able to in that period, burn down all their credits, not just the 1,400.
Yeah.
That they got from the comp. So there could be potential to have to add in some guardrails to it, but that would obviously require coding and all sorts of other things. So there's complexity to it. I will grant you that for sure. Like if they wanted to do something like, say, hey, you could spend, no cooldown up to limit of 1400, right, for
Yeah,
24 hours, something of that nature. But like I said, that would require a whole additional coding, I'm sure.
yeah.
But it's something to consider in the feedback for the future. If there's a similar comp, which hopefully we don't run into
No,
those issues. But let's prepare for the future. It might be a good feedback suggestion to consider some type of way to be able to burn down, even if we're just talking about those specific
yeah. Those specifically. Quasel?
pulls on the
Um,
that
Oh,
particular.
we just lost you there for a minute,
uh,
Sniper. So, Quasel, can you jump in with your
Uh,
thoughts
I
that
mean,
you have about this?
um, they are short. It's a good compensation. A lot of players that wouldn't have been able to do any searches beforehand because they have no G7 players have now all gotten 1200 or 1400 of those tokens. Sure, some G7 have lost a little bit to not be able to redeem. I love the idea with no cooldown because they can do limits on chests as far as I know. And we have had bundles that have limits of 5 or something like that. That would be a great addition. But
Mm,
else, I think for Scopely and for the players is like, yeah, you lost 2 weeks, but maybe you can do searches now and you can then do a double pull and catch up some of that. So
yeah.
yeah,
I
I get
mean,
that some in G7 might be frustrated, but the rest is better off.
yeah, no, I agree.
100%.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that I think Jim Pi came up with which is a very sensible comment, he's like, if they moved away from a comp chess model and started giving away daily drips for any game mechanic that's broken, it'd be so much easier for everyone. So, for example, Surges is down. Sorry, guys, we're aware Surges is down. Instantly, a chest would appear and give you the daily one pull of chest. If they did that automatically for things that are not working in the game, I think it would solve quite a lot of problems and would eliminate this decision making situation where you're stuck going, you can't please everybody, because if you open up the cooldown and that requires a developer getting involved in the coding, not a live ops person pushing a button. What I'm trying to do is there are structures and layers that cost money. They want to do it as quickly as possible for the least amount of effect. They've left it too long, sadly, which led to this problem that they had to solve. They've solved it very nicely with this, but that is the way that they went about it. And unfortunately, when I wrote the math down for them, I said there are two options. And I told them both options you're going to have arguments. You're going to have to make a decision, because the ideal option would be just to give the primal or plasma to everyone. That way, people can jump on and be able to just do the research they need to do, and that'll be great. But the problem is 71 and under, you have to give them the refine. So the argument would be those people would say, well, why do we have to take 2 weeks to refine them as a free to play player when all these people can just have the research and do it instantly? Do you see where I'm going, Quasel? Like you're stuck either way of what you do. You're
Yep.
either, they've decided to, like, remember, there's over 50% of players at G5. That's the shock that people
Mm,
don't realize, and that's where they went, okay, well, that gives everyone the same thing. Potts brings a good point up. He says if they gave new daily drip chests for stuff that was broken, we would have 100 chests more per day to pull. Your daily pull would increase by an additional 30 minutes pull just to pull dailies. I agree, Potts. But what I'm trying to say is, if you announce that something's down, like you announce Surges is down, just release a chest. Just say, hey guys, Surges is down. Until we fix it, you're getting a daily pull. And I think that would be the best solution for it. What do you think of that, Sniper?
Yeah, 100% agree. I think that would solve the issue completely, because then, people would get what they needed to do the pulls, and it would also take pressure, honestly, off of Scopely a bit, because then people won't be as worried about when the thing is coming back, because they're able to still continue doing the main thing that they want to do, which is refine.
Yeah,
But I mean, they'll still want the feature potential, so they can, participate in it and help the Alliance and do these things. But I think if they're able to refine, even a single pull along the way, that makes players happier, takes away the need for this, like you said, development to get involved.
Yeah.
And it also takes some pressure off the scope. So I think it's a win all around and would be
Yeah.
a great idea. Like
Yeah, I agree with that one. Yeah, Cruzito brings a very good point up. He says he'd figured he'd post this too. I won't read the lovely remarks about me, but compensations have been what was exactly lost, not what was potentially gained during the time. As has been mentioned above, everything has a monetary equivalent in the game. Unfortunately, some think their time equals something as far as the game is concerned. It does not. So yes, you could have done for a few more researches during the time. Everyone was effective unless you bought the Paramola, which is like, so you separated the purchase people, so it's net zero. So Cruzito brings a very good point up in that. And everyone was affected in the same way. And I think that is a very good point to sort of point out. And I think people react instantly. We had someone react on the private server, obviously we don't name them, and they snapped and they went after everybody and they did this, that, and the other, and they wanted this. And I was, and part of the thing that I don't think people understand, unless you're like Quasel or Jules Verne or any of the CCs that are involved in the programs or any of the pack members that realize that there is a huge battle behind the scenes to get to the point where you get here. And it's not a battle, it's more trying to get them to understand what is lost. Now, obviously, they're focusing on trying to work on the game, so they might not have specific details about things. So trying to make them understand that the hostiles at 40, for example, when they spawn, like a player came up to me and said, yeah, but we can kill 40s. I'm like, yeah, but you get less points. So you can't actually hit the tier you want to hit at the surges. So you're not affected. So you can't just comp people for the 1 day, for example, of surges, or you can't comp people for 1 day of who tried it. But because they've created this mechanic, which has a very good research, which is very beneficial for later. So if you're a free-to-play player, this is your chance to bank these till you hit 71. So I saw someone was 54. Bank them, do them. And also, the number one objective for you is to bank them completely, because when you get to 71, those will be so vital in you speeding past everyone else. You are in a huge advantage right now. So free to play, this is beneficial and fantastic for you. So please, please, please save those bits, because I think it's really worth it. Do you agree, Quasel?
Yes, absolutely. That research is very impactful, and they can make it right for everybody. Because, for example, I pulled the whole 2 weeks because I had the stash for it, because being in a top alliance. So, a compensation will never satisfy everybody's needs. It can't. It's almost impossible unless they do personalized chests, and that's not gonna happen. Too much work. So I think it's a fair. If you look at the whole of it, it's a fair thing for everybody.
Yeah,
And
it
save
is.
those things because the G5 chests are trash.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, no, I completely agree. And Tattered Mind brings a good point. It's like I've noticed a few comp chats are giving fewer comp chests are giving emergency rations. Well, Tattered Mind, keep an idea. Hopefully, if the people that are discussing the lag things and will create, as in one of the official comments, a compensation, the compensation package will be quite good, I hope, from what I've seen. And, we've been discussions trying to get people to a certain stage. So that's another one that I think is going to be a nice win. Take this as a beautiful win for Surges. Now, no one's tried them enough to check whether they work. But as far as I understand, a few players who have tried it, the only two players have actually told me they have tried it. The new hostiles do spawn, but the 40s keep spawning, they say. So hopefully by the time by Sunday, everything should hopefully settle up. Simon says a very good point. He says, counterpoint, yes, everyone's affected the same way, but it's been established that different up levels have different economies. Now, $100 US gets a G7 player something drastically different from a G5 player. I agree, Simon said, which is why I think the 1200 for the players 71 and under are at a huge. I think they get a huge advantage. The G7 players, I understand, would rather just have the research, but this way it's a balancing act, and I think Cruzito brings a good point, which I think they thought about. Which is great. Hulk, I'm glad you can hear us now. You can hear my beautiful French. Sur le olé à la droite et le sniper. Sniper, avez-vous non fermé de bouche? There you go. Go ahead, sniper.
whatever that all meant. Uh, I only speak English, but it's okay. Um, just of course, I got to bring the math into it, right?
Yes.
And I think, if we look at it from the refinery, for those who are in G7 and maybe don't see the research or the repository, because you brought up the free to play aspect. And I think it's a very good point. Like you bring up an excellent point, because essentially the 1400 will give you, it's essentially 100 per day for a single pull, right? So it's functionally 2 weeks worth of pulls, which you get 500 of those, uh, those particles per pull. And the basic research on the G7 starts out, it's 4,000 per level essentially, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the key thing to keep in mind is that it functionally gives you almost two free researches, right?
Yes.
In that search tree, and the thing to keep in mind is those first level of researches, like when you first get to 71 or so, those researches are pretty big the first level, right? They're incremental after the first level as you get to two, three,
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, they gain quite a bit, but the first level is the big, right? The first level of unlocking those
Oh, it's
research gives you
huge. Yeah.
huge amount. So if you look at it like and just give those on the call some idea and obviously numbers, I can go into the umpteen detail of how different
Yeah.
percentages are in the game these days. But if you look at those first level of researches for G7, like damage, hull, shield, it's about 3,000% each just for the level one research,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
right off
Huge.
the bat, these particles, you go all your G6 ships, all of a sudden now you got an additional 3,000% damage, 3,000% hull for free just based on this comp chest for those players. And for free to play, that's great.
Yeah, and that for free to play, that's where they sort of get to, which is quite important. Sorry about that, Lum. I am doing my best at the moment. But yeah, but I was trying to speak French, but my French wasn't good. I was just trying to impress Hoke, which is he's probably going, what kind of French is that? That makes absolutely no sense. Oui, je parle un petit peu le français. J'habite de France le 16 que Bastia très bien. So the main thing to figure out. Let me go around the panel a little bit. Shockwave Prime. Now you're not an ascended server. This comp for you. I mean, obviously you can't play surges. And now you've heard all the feedback. Is it something you're going to save and hold till 71? Is that something you're aiming
Oh,
for?
absolutely. Yeah. I think holding it, I mean, I'm certainly not going to refine it for Titan parts, Like I think that I think that it gives, unascended servers that should be ascended. Oh man, sorry, I've
Yeah.
got a little bit of a cough here. But it gives unassended servers something to kind of hold on to, and like Sniper said, it sounds like this comp chest. Like I said, I don't know the refined numbers. It's literally a mystery to me because we're not there simply. But
Yeah.
it sounds like if we were to refine this, it sounds like I get three vital researches to help my ships with surges right off the bat. So I'm not gonna complain about that at all. So I think I can see an argument where G7 players might be a little snuffed by it.
Yeah.
I understand that that there was a player that was unhappy with it that we were kind of discussing. But as far as G6 and below and people that don't even have a choice right now, like my server,
Yeah.
it's a great deal for something that didn't really even affect us.
Yeah, true. Absolutely agree. KJ usually have some comments here, which could be quite interesting. Buddy, do you want to jump in with anything?
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
I actually think I actually think the comp is totally fine.
Oh my
I think
God.
surges is something. I think surges is something that the majority of us typically ignore anyway, and they've never been greatly reliable. The Dauntless doesn't really work there, so I think this comp is great. I just got 2 weeks of single pulls for doing absolutely nothing. I haven't done a surge since the day they came out. Piled up,
Yeah, exactly. It sounds it sounds like KJ's happy, which is
piled up, baby.
it's a big surprise. But also don't forget you can go to Bandit Print. VOTP as the promo code as well. There's some great Valentine's Day gifts. I might even get one, but then I thought KJ would know my address, so I probably won't. That's a joke.
Oh,
But
stop.
but it's some great stuff. I like the bear. I actually like the clicky ones as well. The clicky ones looks really great. I thought that was quite fun on how you did those.
Yeah,
And
so I was supposed to go to a craft show this weekend, but I think there's some sort of a weather system coming in. They've canceled it, so now I've got a bunch of those extra.
yeah,
Just a little bit of a weather system. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just a tiny one.
No, that's absolutely amazing. So no, yeah, please go and support him as well because he's one of our friends here, and that'd be amazing. And if anything
For
you
the
purchase will help,
people,
yeah, go on,
for the
Sean Boy.
people that are not in the United States, we have a huge winter storm coming in that's going to cover 2/3 of the country in a winter storm watch.
Wow.
And a lot of areas they're expecting more than a foot of snow just from one giant storm system. So that's what we're referring to.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are just living in the wrong place.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. Not everyone can live where you do, Taco. I'm sorry.
It's cold. It's cold. It's 60 degrees. It's cold.
Oh God, it's
Oh my
60
goodness.
degrees. Yeah. Well,
You don't know cold.
Well, doing a minor little recap because I saw Sniper the Diplomat is here, buddy. So we just had a conversation about the compensation chest. We do agree after reflection that it's a very good comp chest that came out, and it's a very, it's the best of both worlds for everybody without making everyone happy, but it's a pretty good comp chest that came after all. Grim Scott's come up with a very good point where he says after taking reflection time, it's actually worthwhile that comp chest working out. I'm going to move.
And the funny thing about
yeah,
it is,
yeah, go on.
the funny thing about it is that if both people walk away from the table feeling like they lost, everybody really won.
Yes.
So that's something that you have to consider when it comes to the art of the deal. So, I mean, like you said, you were going back and forth for a week on this. I don't have to be on an ascended server to understand negotiations.
Yeah.
So, that's just like if everyone walks away feeling like they lost, then really kind of everybody won. So thank you, Nigel, for your input on all that.
Yeah, no, and the
Yeah,
CCs, I mean, Lube was quite influential in it as well. But yeah, Sniper, what are your thoughts here?
No, I agree, man. You did a great job at getting the comp chest, right? You never get comp chest that everyone's gonna be happy with, especially like when you get towards a lot of VIPs, right?
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think the one thing I want to point out that maybe making people even a little more excited, especially like
Yeah.
Shockwave Prime, for example,
Yeah.
who doesn't have access to an unlocked server and gets level one.
Yeah.
It is a lot of people assume the surge research because it's named surge research only applies to when you're doing the surges because we've seen that with other research where it only applies to waves or certain hostiles. But the surge research actually applies to all your G6 plus ships. So it works universally, PvE, PvP, everything. So it's actually a really, really valuable research to get unlocked. So just those who were going on that journey and will hopefully get an unlocked server to 71. Just know that you want to go after that research quickly because it is very good research.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
appreciate the information on that, but what I really appreciate more is everybody daily sending me messages saying, "Oh, we're so glad you're not on an ascended server." It's every day. So
I mean, you just play in your little kid sandbox with your little
I-
shovel and your little
right.
bulldozer, and that's where you are.
Yeah, exactly. He's an unascended server.
I
Hopefully
mean,
that
you
will.
just, I mean,
Yeah.
Shockwave, you just need more 70s on your server to be ascended.
I just need more people to spend more money on my server to appease the gods at Scopeway.
Yeah,
So
exactly that. I mean, oh man, if you guys have seen the battles and it's good. It's good. We understand more. Being in some of the behind the scenes stuff just allows more discussions. They are listening. It's not that they're not. It's just it requires discussion, data, and constructive feedback. I think I said that in my when I was crying to myself video, as I call it. Is that people have to realize that if we all go together on the same path, we will achieve everything. And it just took us a while to get some of the people that were all advocating the same thing to all discuss and go, we'll all attack it like this. And then we all described the same thing exactly like this. And because we all did that, that actually worked out a sort of way to do it. Spectre says, I think this illustrates that there needs to be a fundamental rework of the search research insofar as providing alternative sources for search research currency. And or providing a way for late G6 players to start searches. Spectre, yes and no. The only time this surge research becomes useful for you is when you jump to G7. It really is. It's only just a little boost in damage, boost in everything. And also, do you guys notice that all the researches that are currently coming out, all FKR ships, nothing for the Vengeance, everything's always, G6 plus, G5 plus FKR ships. They are focusing on that so that I hope by the time that Shockwave Prime ever gets ascended, which is in about 3 years' time, that he will.
Thank you.
He will have so much FKR research that he would be like, I don't even need the Vengeance. I can just go up there with my G6 Max. Quasar will start telling people that he can beat anything because he doesn't care. Everyone's going to have a little boost. It's 3,000% a lot, Quasar, isn't it? 3,000's huge.
Yeah, it is.
It's
And the other thing to remember.
Yeah, go on, KJ.
I'm sorry.
Go on.
The other thing to remember is that mission that gets you into the Veil to get you into 71 space is intentionally difficult and is intentionally a road barrier to prevent people from advancing too fast. So if they open up that surge research earlier, that's going to allow more people in there, and they potentially are not ready for it on their account, except for a way to cheese the hostile. Right. So I think that it's important to remember that is a natural barrier and it is there for a reason. And some of those big percentage boosts are for the 71 plus hostiles.
Yeah, true. And Ascendancy brings up a very good point. R&D 71 is very critical on this. R&D, you need to get to Research and Development 71, which is very, very hard to get to. But KJ brings a good point. Cruzito, you've jumped on. I'd love to know your thoughts about all of this.
Yeah, I'm almost making myself sick because I'm going to agree with KJ here a little bit.
Oh, God.
But I think the one thing to kind of look at as well, right, is that research is for G6 ships plus. Well, guess what? The G6 ships, as we all know, for the most part, have been pretty anemic, right? Their firing pattern sucks. For the most part, a lot of people skip them, wait all the way till they get to the epic, and they finally get that. And then you find it, you get your epic, and you realize, oh, I'm still going to use my cube. Why? Because my G6 ships suck. So I think this is just a bit of a boost for those players that are going to jump into 71, like KJ mentioned, to at least give them the opportunity to do it. Obviously, if you have the Vengeance, that's a win, right? Because you're now going to boost that even more, and you're going to be able to do a little bit more with it. So, yes, I think to Spectre's point, it would be nice if there was more sourcing. I think I saw somebody else mention or post in chat. The more players that ascend up to 71, well, then the starts are going to come more because you get those starts by doing your dailies. May not be as much as we want, but you get those starts, the more players that you have up in there. And to like what Shockwave was saying, right? Those that are on unascended servers, realistically, they're not getting it. But if you're looking at G6 and below, other than the surge research that you want at 71, there's not much in that refinery that you don't already have, right? Titan blueprints. Maybe you're chasing an epic, so you might want something like that, but there's really not much more. It's intended to be a boost for 71 plus.
Yeah, it is. And I think more of these researches, like a lot of the researchers we've been getting are FKR plus, and I just think eventually all the lower levels, so the free-to-plays are going to get a bonus from that. Keep chasing those things. If I were a free-to-play player, right, I'm going to give a couple of very minor hints here. If I was a free-to-play player right now, my number one focus is make sure you pull the Excelsior blueprints every single day at max pull as much as possible every single day. Use all your challenge credits on it. Then focus on your specialty ship if there is the Vengeance or whatever, so on and so forth after it. That's the key. If you haven't purchased it, the free-to-play, my advice to you right now, you urgently need to push that as high as possible, and it will make a way more sense and way more helpful for you later on. So that's my advice to you if you're free-to-play. We're trying to give people from all levels a little boost. Also, the players at the lower levels, you're going to notice more and more and more and more researches that will be coming in for FKR plus. So G5 plus, G6 plus, G7, and so on and so forth, all for FKR ships. So this is your chance to power up your boost, get your research really hard. Make sure you finish that G6 research if you're lower level. When you're G5, make sure you get to the end of your tree, because if you don't, when you get to the G7 jump, when you get to G6, it's going to take you a long time to do that. It's quite good. Sandra brings a good point up. She says the Apex Shred from the Excelsior buff is quite impactful before a Surge research for Apex Shred is higher. And then Sleepy Queen's like asking, are they trying to make FKR ships relevant again? No, I think Cruzito brought a good point up, whereby the speciality ship like the Cube and the Vengeance is not becoming the be-all and end-all of this game and allow you the choice to make a decision. So now, Shockwave Prime, as you've heard that, what would you do? I know you've unmuted yourself. Go ahead.
Well, I think that that's an important distinction, right? Like
Yeah.
using FKR versus Vengeance versus Borg Cube for one key fact, and that's because your next FKR ship, once again, this is something I don't have to be I don't have to be ascended to
Yeah.
understand. Your next FKR ship is 73, which is, in the trillions. So you need something to get you going, and that research can power your G6 ships in order to get you through until you get that first 73 uncommon. So I think that's part of the process. That's part of the route that they want you to go, which is why we don't have an Ops 80. Whereas when G6 first opened up, we had an Ops 70 within a week or two. So that's why we don't have an Ops 80s, because they've made everything so much higher to grind, and you've got to go back and factor in these ships step by step. So I think that's a very important distinction from one level to the other.
Exactly, and that gives you so I'm trying to be balanced here. So that gives your free to play a lot of options here. Also, the one thing to be aware of, I'm just going to go Vengeance talk for a brief moment. So sorry, free to play players, I'm just going to have a chat with that. They've opened the door to get a second Vengeance. Don't worry, the parts thing will still come back on Thursdays, Saturdays, Sundays. That event is still going to become. They're just giving you an option to potentially get a second Vengeance if you wish. Would I suggest you do it?
Yeah.
No, but I can barely max my first one, let alone get me a second one. It will take forever, but it gives you a very good option to do so. So free to play. Listen carefully. You must, and I'm telling you, for the next few weeks, I just want you to absolutely focus on getting as much Excelsior blueprint as you can. I would just do it, and trust me, it'll benefit you later. Just hammer it really hard. That's going to be useful. The other thing is, I think officers like Section 31 Georgiou, what was it? The Quasal version, Quasi. What's his name? Who's below decks Apex. Focus on those officers to get your Apex shred up. I would, if I were you, I'd focus on those two and walk Carol to try and see if you can max them as soon as possible. Those are my little things that I'm telling you, just get there, because I think it will help you in the long run. And it will help you with a lot of the current V'ger hostiles. It'll help you with the current aspects of the game. And I'm telling you now, this is a chance for you to focus on those three specific things. So those three officers are very specific, and I'll tell you why in a future episode. But these are the officers I would focus on at the moment to try and max. So use your officer depot tokens, get as much as you can, and also focus on your outpost starts as well. But if you wish to use, we've had a whole discussion about the whole outpost with miners thing. There's a whole discussion thread that you guys can read on whether it's useful for you, whether it's not. You have to balance it depending what you are. Yes, Sal, Max, Walk, Carol, like and G31. Sorry, Section 31 Georgiou and Quasi. So those are the three. I'm telling you right now. Focus really hard on maxing those. Just focus for the next few weeks. Do all you can to get those three max. You're going to need a lot more Apex shred. It will also help you with the V'ger hostiles there, because they have a lot of Apex barriers, so you need to shred anyway. I just found that I managed to speed through quite a lot of this V'ger stuff a lot easier by having those maxed. Obviously, Pick Q is like the biggest person to aim for, to sort of a priority as well. So Pick Q, you should never stop until he's maxed. Those three, I'm telling you, you should go for. But yes, Quasel, go ahead.
I'd put Replicant Carol first, your book, because she helps you in so many ways.
Yeah.
At least tier 4. It's helps you in every loop, in every situation currently, especially higher G6 and G7 players. I would focus on her,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
makes sense. Janeway
Yeah.
below deck is just great.
Yeah, exactly. Because what I'm trying to get you to do is I'm trying to get you to find alternative officers to loads of officers. So remember on the list that they showed you the SNWs you can't use. So you need alternative officers to those SNW officers to help you. And then you need alternative officers like we had before when we had ISO damage or ISO cascade. We had the choice of E data and Janeway. So we have two there. So if you had to replace let me see. What does Janeway do? She does like a bit of shield, and she does some sort of ISO damage. So if you had to replace Janeway, you'd go right. I need What Carol to put below deck. It replaces her captain's ability, and I need E data to replace her ISO damage ability, for example. Right? That's a good example of how you need alternatives. And I think what they're trying to lead the game towards is loads of choices, which is why we had Sulu, which is why we have TMP Uhura, and whoever the third, fourth, and fifth officers are, those are officers that will give you more stuff to sort of chase towards. The one thing I will tell people is the COTA for next month, I would save up for if I were you. I'm just giving you a little hint. Save up for it. I think it's very worth saving up for and sort of pushing through. I'm not going to break any NDAs for it, but I'm telling you, those are the key officers for you to sort of aim for, and those are the things that you need to sort of do. So I'm just trying to give people, thank you very much for being part of this community here in Voice of the Players, that little oomph saying you've got a 3-week head start, 4-week head start, whenever it is, to just do that. Also, great news. MJ
I
had,
want to.
just go Taco, I'm just going to say just one little good thing, then you can jump in. MJ had his PC deliveries on the 1st to the 26th of February. Thanks to everyone that donated on RevStream. They did a really good job there. Anyone that, I mean, we did minor here, but we tried. So anyone that did anything towards that. Oh, January. Oh, wow. January. So that's going to arrive in the next few days. That's going to be amazing. MJ Hat will be doing a live stream of him putting the PC together and putting everything together and then trying to stream on another device at the same time while he's doing that. It's going to be a 36-hour stream where MJ Hat might be losing his hair, might be losing his hat while he watches WWE Raw. And he's probably going to reach WWE SmackDown, and he's going to get to the end of all that before he puts his PC together. So that's really good. But going back to the serious side of it, Taco, what were your notes here regarding that part of it?
Regarding the officers like Janeway or Giorgio, make sure you do your away team efficiency, the resource efficiency,
Yes.
so it'll cost less officer shards.
Yeah, true. What Carol, the two Apex Shred officers, S31 Giorgio, Quasi are three.
She's under the SNW.
Yeah, she's under SNW, and Quasi is really good. I would chase those officers as far as you can right now, in as best as you can, and just focus on doing that. But what Carol is your priority after Pick Q? I mean, Pick Q you should be maxing right now. So Diggy6 is a free-to-play players. I'm giving you a massive head start. Pull every freaking thing to get that Excelsior as fast as humanly possible, and it'll be worth it at the end. Gamble everything at it, and it'll be worth it later, which is going to be great. So just focus on that and focus on those things. That will give you a massive, massive boost for whatever potentially is coming next. Obviously, I haven't seen anything, but I have an idea that with these Apex barriers increasing, you're going to need Apex Shred to be dramatic. So that is the focus I would do. And then you need alternative officers, because what I found with the Outposts hostiles and with other hostiles, you need multiple variations of things to help people, so we can do those really well. So that's a nice little helpful hint for everybody to sort of focus on and sort of aim towards. The other thing is, I know the Alliance tournaments, we're not going to really get into it too much. They have added new tasks, but remember in my video what I said, and the reason I did that video was it was one take from the heart, just to try and explain to you, you need to understand that who cares if they've added an Excelsior parts task or Officer Depot token task or whatever else they add? Do you need to do it? Of course you don't. Just do the task that you do. No percentage of any task has changed. Nothing's changed. You just have these additional things where you go, oh, okay, great. Well, obviously I don't have 10,000 Excelsior parts to pull, so I ain't going to do it. And I know Syndicate's really high, so I ain't going to do it. However, the Syndicate passes now, so maybe you can do it once. Do you know what I mean? Like focus on things like that. Be beneficial. You can help your alliance a lot in doing things like that. And Crazy brings a good point. Can they sort these 10K tasks with the rest instead of at the top? Yes, Crazy.
Please.
Yeah, they are on it. I already know this. They are going to shove them back down. They were just adding stuff and it just goes into the middle for some strange reason. They will do that. The major thing that came out of a discussion in the Voice of Players in VIP, which obviously I won't disclose everything, but because they're allowed to have their special moment with these things, is that they would love for the store to be fixed. This jumping around thing is really affecting a lot of the purchases. And I think Flossie came up with a very, very good idea. She says, what if you undo last purchase button? Which I really like that. That might solve quite a lot of problems. Ideally, it doesn't jump or refresh, but that would be a good point, wouldn't it? Yes, please, darn thing, when you're trying to move the screen, something clicks I don't want. I know, Narkova. Flossie with an absolutely terrific suggestion. Sniper, you were going to jump in with something here. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh yeah, this is a big one, and I've
Go on.
been very much an advocate for this for a long time. Obviously this is not something like live ops can solve. This is a development type of issue. But I do think, having, and I'm big into the whole toggle thing, having a
Yes.
setting or type of toggle, turn on and off this kind of thing, because maybe some people want it for some reason, some people don't. But I think, the two things that they should ideally add there is, a toggle turn on and off auto refresh. I mean, I think a lot of people would keep it off.
Yeah.
And a manual refresh button there, so you don't have to go out and into the screen, and you can just refresh it if you want to, right?
Yes.
When you want to,
Yeah. Agreed.
because I can tell you there's plenty of times when I was scrolling, and especially since it often refreshes when people pick up tasks and things like that. That is, I think, what triggers it.
Yeah.
And right at the beginning of the tournament, when you want to first go in the store and start, picking a bunch of stuff up,
Yeah.
that you've been waiting for since the last tournament,
Yeah.
you can't even scroll to the bottom, because as you start scrolling up, it refreshes before you even get to the thing you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. It's
it,
frustrating.
it could definitely drive you a little crazy.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with that. One suggestion that I thought was great. Indrik says move it to the event store. I think that requires a lot of coding. The other thing that was mentioned is Jim PI saying hide things in the Alliance tournament store. Once we unlock it, helps minimize the issue as well. Agreed, Jim PI. One suggestion from the private server that came through was have an archive button, archive folder, where everything just goes into the archive once you've maxed it. If you want to go there and pull extra transporter patterns, or you want to pull an extra thing, it's there, and you can do that. The other thing is, and sales pitch to Netniv, who refuses to join the panel today because he's now worried that he might break his NDA in some way possible, which is why he won't join the panel. He says you can solve that with the mod. Resize so everything's on one screen, then it doesn't scroll. Netniv mod available at netnivmod.com. Or something to do with the
Hey,
mod.
Nigel.
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, just so you know, I just got a DM from someone saying that they couldn't get into the chat room, and it's because Quasel, you have your video on, and it's capped at 100 with the video, and there's currently 100 people
Oh,
in here
sorry,
now.
that's from beforehand. Sorry, I didn't disable that. Let me disable that.
So Quasel has
Very
Thank
ruined
you.
important.
this whole thing. Thank you, KJ.
I just wanted to make me more important. Yeah, I
I
know.
agree. If you can DM them back for me, KJ, as a thanks, just say an apologies from our
Sorry.
side. Which he left with that one.
Tell them to flame me for it.
Yeah, exactly that one. Niv decides that he wants to jump onto the panel. I don't think he's got something interesting to say, so we'll deny him that, and not allow him to join in as them. He's on stage. Oh, this is awkward. Oh,
Why,
not me,
hello,
sir.
sir. You didn't have to, try and seduce me in DMs so much.
Oh,
I am here now.
Yeah, that didn't come from me. So the important thing is Netniv. So now that's the Niv the CC is official,
Uh-huh.
the mod becomes a very useful tool, and I think people should start using it a bit more. I mean, I haven't ever, I'll be honest and told people, I've never downloaded it once or ever put it in once because I'm on a Mac and I love my Mac. So that's the important
But it
thing.
works beautiful on a Mac. I love it, and on a
Yeah,
Mac too.
it was. You might think that, but we'll see how that works out with that. But what does the mod do? So you can put everything onto one screen, so
Well,
that
you can scale the UI so that it becomes smaller, and you can then see everything on a single screen. Because there's not that much in the Alliance store. You can still see everything when you resize it. And
amazing.
by doing so, and you can do that on the fly, just using the page up, page down buttons of the mod. You can just change the scale on the fly, so it's not like you have to go like close the game, reopen it, or anything. And then you can put it back when you're done. So literally, if you want to go to the Alliance tournament store and you don't want the refresh issue with the mod on PC or on the Mac, you just roll. You just use the page down button to get everything tiny, and everything's on one screen. Pick what you want to do, and then go back.
Yeah, exactly that. Quasel, what is the German word for massive, huge,
Um,
big?
it depends on the context.
No, like it's a big, not a naughty thing, a big burger. What would you call it? Huge.
Keine Ahnung. Gewaltig.
Sorry, say that again.
Gewaltig.
Gewaltig
Ein
Mac.
gewaltiger Burger.
Gewaltige taco. Is that right, Sandra? Mac taco. Gransgross. Chronox says.
Riesig.
Yeah, there we go.
Sehr
Exactly.
groß.
Is he?
Sehr groß.
Lum is got a question. He says, "Is he saying words or is he choking?" He is choking. He's choking on the fact that he had his video on and ruined any more audience participation in this Voice of the Players, which has ruined my numbers. So thank you again, Quasel, for yet again doing that.
Lovely to tease you every time.
Exactly. Valid question for choking because it's a Shockwave Prime choking because it's big. Yeah, exactly. It's a Big Mac, which is what Killer Angel says that the only Mac he uses is a Big Mac, which I think is quite funny. That's amateur hour. But look, with the Alliance tournament tasks, I just think that people have to just ignore these new tasks if you don't want to do them. I have a feeling in the future you'll be able to eventually, probably in a year, maybe even more, be able to pull 10,000 Excelsior parts like it's nothing. You'll probably be able to pull, 400,000 or 800,000 Sigma syndicate, and it'll be nothing. And that'll be really, really easy to sort of do. So until that time comes, let them add what they want. They haven't removed anything, have they, Crisito?
Well, I think one of the things we've got to kind of keep into context is
Yep.
the fact that there are things or there are players that may or may not be able to finish their tasks with something else, right? So I think it's a good thing, right? We've heard now. Granted, this is going to be geared more towards the spenders, maybe some free to play type. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but there are some folks that maybe have not upgraded their Excelsior yet or doing whatever it is, right? And so they're trying to do those. I think we should be careful on telling them to remove ways for us to score, even if it doesn't affect us personally. I think we should be advocating for many more ways to get score points, even if it doesn't apply to me specifically. The more
Yeah.
ways that we can score, the better it is for us. And I think that's okay.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I would love to hear from the chat and the free to play in particular, or any of the levels from 40 and above, what tasks they think would be quite useful for them to have into Alliance tournament. So let's bring them up because it'd be good to mention these things and allow people to do things. I know I think more of them can do the choice tokens now when you're 30 plus, and the Epic Borg and Epic Dominion is absolutely be amazing, and they're really good. Be careful to for many paid tasks can clog the queue and rerolls. Yes, Quasel, but the way it works, which I can't say, but I know how it works. That's not going to get affected. Eviscerator queue parts main for For G5, okay, yeah, but tasks. So I think hostile killing tasks, or they should now add way higher ones, freebooter ones, things that allow people to try and contribute 10,000 points here and there. I do like the additional events they have on the side, Crisito. Do you not agree? Those little extra points. Yeah,
Yeah, and one thing I've never understood, and maybe it's just screen size. So obviously playing on PC, it's a little bit different. Like crazy, so we can zoom out.
yeah,
One of the things that I haven't really understood is why we're limited to the what is it, the 20 tasks
yeah,
at any given time, right? I mean, like if you have, let's just say 60,
yeah,
put them all there. You know what I mean? Like just let them go out there, and that way you're not having to sit there with the re rolls. And I get it. Maybe it's because of server or whatever calls or whatever they're doing, but I think that may actually help with some of the lag stuff of just put them all there, and when one disappears, you just refresh it and go back. I'm not sure why they're afraid to do that. Maybe it's a matter of if all 100 people selected a
yeah,
task at the same time, it would crash it. I mean, sure. I just don't know. It's always seemed odd to me.
Can I
yeah,
say something to that?
yeah. Go
I
ahead,
think
Netnef. Yeah, go on.
I think you'll find that the reason why they're doing that is for competition amongst your teammates. Because you think about it, everybody wants that easy 10k task,
Yeah,
and who wouldn't? I mean, I know I would. But if you run out of rerolls, then you're left going, either I do a lower task that's there, or I sit and wait for somebody else to do it. And you can get whales that will constantly sit there and just reroll with all their spare rerolls, but
yes,
there are
yeah.
plenty that don't. So,
That's true, and
and they're
yeah, and I absolutely agree with that one. But there's some doozies here that popped up, like a raiding task is interesting, a rep bonus task is interesting. Ascendancy says every hostile loop should be a task, so it gives you options. But then that's too many hostile loops, so we have to be a bit careful. There's EE11 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 EE says rep gain task might be good 10k. Lum wants a really simple 10k task of collecting a 10-minute chest, which obviously that's not going to happen. They said, there's loads of very good options. It'd be good if they can combine alliance members to help people as well as a combined task. I would love like an alliance task where, hey guys, today we're picking the mining task. We need to mine 50 million of whatever in points. That would be amazing. Or things like that. What do you think? What do you think? Sniper jumped on first. Yeah. What do you think, Sniper?
Yeah, I actually 100% agree with that. That'd be a great enhancement to Alliance tournaments. It's something I feel like really fits with the spirit of what Alliance tournaments was, kind of originally supposed to be. There should be something to the nature of like, the Admiral or Commodore or somebody could pick a Alliance task. That would be separate and distinct from like the three tasks that individuals pick. It would be like an Alliance-based task, and it could be some big number, grind 5,000 hostiles or something of your level, right?
Yeah.
Uh, something of that nature that would take, a participation across the alliance, that the, um, leadership can come and say, hey, this is the task we're gonna, look to do today. Everyone kind of participate, right? And some will participate more, some will participate less. It's kind of like an ALB. It's kind of the same, uh, thing, but the alliance can work together towards a goal. So if you get something like, for instance, a wave defense one, right?
Yeah.
For those who, lower levels who do, shared waves as opposed to the solo waves, right? So you can get, a few players in there and you can get it to count towards, multiply by the number of players that you have in there. And so it gives some benefit to doing shared things or doing like armadas, for example,
Yeah.
things that are already kind of shared in nature. So I think it would be good, but, it should be separate and distinct from like the individualized tasks. Like could be like a separate alliance-based slot, that can do one or three tasks or however many they want to add. But it would add a bit of more camaraderie to
Yeah.
the
No.
event. In my
Yeah, I agree. The thing I like about it was these extra points. You're now encouraging them to guys go and do the hostile kill, please do, because it just gives you those extra points and they're bonus boosts. And I think that would add something else. Well, I'm going to pass it on to Crisito and then to Diclo. Crisito, your thoughts on
Well,
this?
Yeah, and I think it lines up to what you were asking about with those events, right? So I think that's a good first step. Like, okay, there's some solo milestones that you can do.
Yeah.
There would be some good ones, as the alliance. Right now, granted, it's going to have the byproduct of you finishing your solo ones, but I do think if they're wanting to have more group style, alliance style focused things, I think
Yeah.
that would be great. One of the things, and I know we're all losing our minds over it, but we just had territory reset, right?
Yes.
That would have been a perfect task. Like, hey, you go take a territory, guess what? You score points, right? Like
Yeah.
those kind of things would be phenomenal to start bringing back a lot of the group play that we have shifted away from over the last year with a lot of the solo type stuff. And yes, I get it. I'm one of those that I love doing my solo stuff, but that's partially because at my ops level, there's really not much for me to do with the rest of the alliance, right? I can't really go do armadas with them. Why? Because most of my ships are way bigger than anybody else is there,
Yeah.
and it doesn't help them. So I think to Sniper's point, if they could lean in and figure a way to do that, that would be awesome.
Yeah. No, that's a great idea. And Diclo, any thoughts on that one, buddy? You jumped on.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with sorry, whoever was speaking last.
Yeah.
I think when alliance tournaments first came out, we were expecting a lot of alliance based to happen, and that wasn't the case. And to me, that was disappointing.
Yeah.
I need a way, especially for I think my lower players, a way to get them motivated more to do things in the game. And I think if there was overall, even if
Yeah.
let's say there was an alliance, an AMS as part of the alliance tournament, that you had to complete certain to get bonus points, bonus credits,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I think that would be some more of an alliance based aspect to the alliance tournament itself.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. You're cutting up a little bit, Diclo, but I got most of that. Maflat, who's part of my alliance, is shaming me by saying that he's 50 points ahead of me currently. Well, Maflat, I haven't done my today's tasks, so you just wait. I'll be getting ahead of you, buddy. But that sort of like challenge between the alliance members, we make it a little game between us, and I think that's fun. And I think you can have this inter thing, between alliances that allows for points to be given out and things like that. Just create more. Star Trek is all about community. So let's make this community, together towards a task, which I think would make it a lot more fun in Alliance tournament. So here's them hopefully listening to this. Here's them hopefully coming up with ideas that are not purchasable. Let me be clear. And will just allow people to join in together that create a more of an idea of bringing groups together so they can all be together towards it. And I think that will be amazing. And it'll be something that will sort of be added to everything else. But the key thing to people to understand is if you can't do the task, don't stress about the task. Let's move on to the next task. Let's re-roll it. You've got loads of people in your alliance that will help you, loads of people that will do really well. And that's the most important thing, is not to be stressed about it. Do you agree, Quasel?
Absolutely. Ask your friends to reroll. I mean, I'm speaking from a very easy spot because my alliance is very active.
Yeah.
IRS is known about it. But they ask about rerolls, and a lot of bigger players can do them because we're getting tons of them, and I don't know where to put them anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Which would be amazing, and that's the rerolls. People forget to ask. Don't be shy in the levels. Whether you're ups 30, 40, 50, 60, ask everyone else, because you never know who could help you out with that. That's the key aspect I think everyone forgets in this game. They go, yeah, I'm not getting a good task, so I'm re-rolling, not getting anything. I'm like, yeah, but ask your bigger players. They might be sat on 100,000, 200,000 re-rolls, and why not? They would love to help you out in trying to make it happen for you. So I think that's very vital and very important to sort of realize about that and specifically. And any tasks that you think that are really, really cool, then please do mention them and DM them, and we'll put them in the comments and so on and so forth. We'll do that. Ascendity says, and use the STFC.pro tool to check if your task is already out of the pool first. Exactly. Little tricks like that. When Chronox finally gets off his ass and stops going to the gym to look like Vin Diesel Jr. and actually just comes and fixes the beta version of the STFC.pro, it's going to be one of the greatest sites of all time. Cruzito says he's got 1.1 million rerolls. He can reroll as much as you like. Sniper is the same. Kelrick says the same. Kelrick won one of our merches. Well done, Kelrick. And also Simon says they won one of our merches. There's a designer selection now on the website, so if anyone fancies to do that, but we will be doing a giveaway as well today. So if you're not part of the membership on the website, I'll be doing another $100 worth of merch today to give away, so I'll put the winner later on as well. Indrik says one of the things with the lower players is the tasks. A lot of the ones that give points are spend required. Some are safe stuff like acquired task, but then they are doing 1,600 points of swarm. They get drained and don't get credit for, so then the store doesn't feel great. The lower point tasks should be reworked to better things that pay out better in the store. I agree with you, Indrik, which is why we're suggesting some of the better loop stuff could come in. They could give a bit more points towards it. And I think we can also, look towards things like that. Panda Pirate comes in. Can we collectively think of a reason to extend the Alliance store so that we can get a second round of yummy rep and so on and so forth? Yeah, exactly, which would be amazing. Chronox has sent me a lovely list of loads of hostile types, open tasks that are always there, and that's amazing to just see the level of detail that's on there, which is incredible that they're open and no one's actually done them, which is absolutely insane, and would be cool towards that. And I think that's the cool thing. Just everyone just focus on that. I'm going to move on slightly. I'm sorry to move it on swiftly to the next part. Lag has been a big major issue. There will be, as they said in their announcement, a comp that will come out. I think the comp, if as it's been advertised, and I hope just because of them listening to this that they won't throw a hissy on it, is actually fantastic. And I commend them if they do the comp that they are wishing to do. I think it's very, very important. Quasel, Netniv, you guys are nitty gritty little, behind the scenes guy. Why is there so much lag? Netniv, any thoughts on why the lag has become so bad recently? Are they updating stuff behind the scenes? Something we don't know?
That I can't totally answer. I just, like you, see that the effects of it on the fact that you do claims and stuff and they're slow. We know the infrastructure needs changing to be more real time.
Yeah.
From what it was, which is one thing that was in kind of statement. They haven't really come forward with anything yet to say how they're going to progress that forward. But it is something that I'm keeping an eye on because I really want them to do that.
Yeah. Out of interest, Netniv, I'm going to come to you with a question. That buff update, do you reckon that was delayed because they were like, oh, dear God, this might cause even more lag? Or is it them trying to do things behind the scenes, which is creating this lag? I think I'm trying to look at it in a positive manner. They're actually trying to, okay, we tried this, that creates more lag. Okay, let's not do that again. Let's try that. Is that something they could do?
I mean, I'll speculate because I don't know the answer. It's all speculation, and none of it could be true, or everything's true. Almost like the Assassin's Creed motto. But they could have been trying to do the buff update, which will be a great thing when it comes. But something went wrong and clearly went wrong. And I did ask whether there's any updates on why it wasn't there or when it's going to come up again. And in a minute, it's just we haven't got any more updates for you at this time. So I know pretty much as the same as everybody else on it. Will it have been because they were? Will it be because they were trying to do things in the back end? Maybe. And maybe on their test servers, they got some last minute metrics that went, oh, actually, we do this is going to have a knock-on effect. If that's the case, I'm glad they pulled it earlier. But in doing so, did that affect what they were doing on live? Because maybe they were doing some prep work for it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Quasel, what are your thoughts here?
I don't know. I've heard I'm to blame for it because I praised their stability lately. So go blame me because seems they got the wrong message and thought they can give us a little bit more annoyance and stuff because we're getting in a far too good mood. I don't know. It's with those things you never know what's going on in the background. Maybe they found a bug, maybe they found an issue, maybe they tested it. Surprise!
Yeah, well,
and found out it doesn't work like expected. Who knows?
Well, all I've got to say is that the next arc is probably in my personal opinion, being seen by more people than anything else. So you better. I will be coming to all the CCs that are official. If it doesn't work very well, which is very very important to say. But I have a feeling, right? Okay, I've got little tidbits of information. They are trying to do stuff behind the scenes. They are trying to follow through, and I think Julio Vertino, the legend of all the between the sheets. Remember Quasel's just the green sheets, but Jules is between the sheets. The legend between the sheets. Said that they have to break the game to get to the next phase, and I think that's a good thing, and I think that's the positive part of it. The sad part of it is it maybe causes lag, maybe causes issues. Also, the AWS servers have been a little bit off recently, so this is not a Scopely problem. This is more of a server problem that's worldwide. Shockwave Prime jumps in. What would you think, buddy?
Oh, I was just going to say that I think too some of the things that they're going on, like we haven't even talked about today, and
Yeah.
you sign on today and we have a brand new shiny object to play with. Actually, a couple of them. So I think too that like you said, adding stuff to the game and adding content. For those of you that didn't see it, there's a Vengeance Prime now for cost efficiency, and there's a Surge Prime for efficiencies there too. So those were added overnight with the last update, went live. And so they're doing things like that on the back end. So that's, when you have that, you're going to have lag.
Yeah, true. That's a very good point, actually. Yeah, there are two primes. I'm trying to focus this on being less on the spendy part, to respect people like Potts, who I have huge respect for. But Crisito, jump in with your thoughts regarding this, and let's see if we can decipher it better.
Yeah, I think one of the things, and it's a good thing, right? It's almost like when you go in there and you've lived in a house, it's an older house, and you're like, hey, I need to remodel it, probably bring it up to code. Chances are that you're going to be probably tearing down a lot of walls and doing a lot of stuff, and it's going to look nasty initially, right? You're not going to want to be in there, and that's unfortunately because of the fact that the community, right, it grew so fast in such a short period of time, and that they didn't want to lose the momentum. They just kept piling on and piling on without actually going back, refactoring, re-architecting that. Right, this game was really never intended, at least from the information I've gathered. This game was never really intended to go on more than a year. It was supposed to be an advertisement, promotional kind of thing for when the Calvin movies came out, and it caught fire, and they said, hey, let's roll with it. And so, when you look at it like that, yeah, they're tearing down a lot of things. And in most cases, we're probably going to get some breaks. It's not going to feel good. If it's one of those, and I've never told anybody to step away, but if it really is bothering you that much to where you get frustrated by it, you might want to step back, right? Because there are going to be some instances where the game is just a little bit broken, right? But the only thing we can hope for, and again, that's a big word, is that it's going to get better. And the things that they're at least bringing out, some of the concepts, and yes, it's in theory, they do seem to be something that they're going to try to get there. It's a matter of how long we're willing to be patient for it. So that's just my kind of thought on it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
for me, I'm in that industry. I know what it takes to tear a system down and remod it.
Yeah.
It's a while, and sometimes the customers are not happy.
Yeah. Now, here's a thought, Netniv. Before you jump in, I'll get you the chance to jump in. A very good point was brought up here, saying again, if they communicate this to the players, would mostly understand and have the patience. I think the issue is that they keep us in the dark. Well, Flossie, today, the perfect example of the comp and how it shocked you on some players didn't find it useful. Like even Ascendancy, I'm not going to call you out, buddy, because I know you're like, but you were fair. What I like about what you did is you went, look, the comp is fine. It's not good for me, but it's fine for people. The problem is with telling people that is that I feel like they're going to go, like the player base will, because we're not easy to please people. So you're like, oh, 7 years of this, blah, 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 of that. This is never going to happen. I don't really care what you do. You're never going to fix it. Screw you, whatever this and all that and the other. That's what's going to happen. But Netniv, because you do a bit of developing, I would say, would you encourage communication? Do you find that a useful thing to do? Or what are your thoughts?
Communication is always vital in any business.
Yeah.
Because, say, for example, you're working on a project for a customer, but you have to take a week longer to get it right. And you take that week. If you don't tell them that, they're going to be a bit naffed off that you haven't spoken to them in a week.
True.
You know, why is it, like we have been when they've said, oh, scrapping's coming at a certain point and it didn't arrive.
Yeah.
For example, they've given us a new date of July, and we're all going to be looking forward to that. And hopefully, that will be achievable, or they'll give us an update on it.
Yeah.
And I think the comms lately have been better.
Yep.
So hopefully they can improve that. Where they haven't been so great, I have been also poking at them.
Yeah.
Because when they first announced the buff updates, for example, the comms were a bit misleading between Discord and the in-game.
Yes.
And I was like, well,
yeah,
that's you're going to have to get one of these sorted because one of them's true, not both of them. And with a couple of pokes, they did update it, and then it didn't come.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, strangely, none of them were true now. So currently, nothing is true, basically.
And at the same time, though, they were very quietly not going to bring out the buff update because there was one comment from Paulie, and I'd sent a notice out to my guys to say, bring out your miners, and all this. And then one of them replied and went, did you see this comment? And I looked and it went, oh, yes, the buff update's not coming.
Yeah, that is. But I'm sorry to say that's kind of my fault because I made him remove it from the post, and there was a huge battle. I said to him, so that doesn't make sense because the in-game post didn't make sense. It said the buff update that's only specific to territory. What they meant was just a little miscommunication, but they managed to sort it, which is that there is no buff update, and that's fine. And then Hammy then came with further comms later on saying the ships won't be recalled and made very clear. And I think I agree with you. I think people are scared to be more frank about things, and I think people will be more understanding if you're frank all the time. They may attack you the first time, second time, third time, fourth time, but eventually they'll be like, well, actually, they're telling us what's going on. I'd rather someone said to me, right, I can't put this new toilet in. It's going to take me an extra day. I'm like, we haven't even started. I'm like, I already know because I've just opened and now it's a bigger problem. That communication for me is important. Ascendancy brings a good point up because he runs quite a lot of productions using the AWS and servers, and he says communication is key. I would never tell us I would never tell us what the problem exactly is, though, but communication is important, saying that, hey, guys, we're doing some updates. You might get some lag issues. Really sorry about these little server spikes. We're not anticipating them, but if they do come, here it is. And then what I would do is prep a pre-prepped comp. So they go, hey, guys, we're going to give you a chest. Put some shields up while we solve this issue. Everyone goes, oh, great. Well, they've given me a little cheeky little thing. That's really cool. Monocle comes in with a very, very good point. He says the lag certainly seems cyclical, but we have bursts of time with no lag and then it surfaces again. I can't help but wonder if there are financial reasons where some sort of throttling is happening with AWS. I doubt, though, Monocle, because people pay for the service for the year. CPU minutes bandwidth is metered service, lower priority, cost less, maybe. Let's not hope that is the way. They do very well from this game. I mean, just from the army of stuff that's been spent, they do make some money to go over that. And Lum says, I think they should hire some native English speakers to go over their communications. Lum, I kind of like, it makes me laugh, but that's quite a funny comment, which is great. Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that.
Yeah, go on, Quasar.
I don't think that the lag was expected by them, or maybe even something they did. It just happened, and then you need to fix it. Whatever they did, we don't know. It's assumptions. And the problem with communications is that people tend to misread them, and you can't please everyone. Remember the big post about technical stuff they're doing, and people complaining about too much technical info. It's like you can't make it right for everybody. I wish there would be more, because then we would know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. I'll let NetNiv to go in, and then after that, I'll go to Crisito. Yes, NetNiv, go ahead, buddy. I
was going to say the other thing we have to consider is that we say lag as a player, and we see it because we move our ship or we try to make a claim, and then we don't see it for a couple of minutes maybe. But lag itself is a generic term, and there can be many reasons why it's happening. It could be a database transaction that's holding it up. It could be that network communications having an issue and queues are building up. And don't forget, Scopely have got their stuff, and then they've got their partners that do the things, and then they've got AWS underneath that. So there are many layers at which this could be occurring, and diagnosing what is the cause of it can take some time.
Yeah,
We
true.
hope that obviously over time they've managed to speed up some of that process, but still there are many different things that could be causing it. So we do say it's lag, and that's it to us, but
Yeah,
there can be many
that's true.
different things.
Before we go to Crisito, George says last night's lag was weather related. I know George works in that world, so he's aware of that one. Crisito, your thoughts on all this?
Well, it's always tough coming in right after NetNiv, right? Because NetNiv just lays it out there and drops the shoe drop. I think the only thing I would probably maybe add to that, right, where there are different things that are causing it, and if you look at least, I know on our side, on the private server, there's and I think even on the official, where you can go in there and say, hey, we've got lag, and it's going to give you a bunch of questionnaires. Why are you experiencing it? What were you trying to do? And if you look at it, right, there are probably what, 8, maybe 9 options now.
Yeah.
Each one of those may be a specific reason. And so while we, like Netnif said, we look at it from a perspective of, well, just the game is slow. Okay, well, each of the transactions you're trying to do
Yeah.
may be caused by something different. And I
True.
think something to keep in mind as the community when they come out and say, hey, the lag has been fixed. I think, and I don't want to speak for them, but I take the assumption of for that specific reason that what we just brought up,
Yes.
lag has been fixed for
Yes.
this time. That doesn't mean it's not going to come again, right? It's not a, hey, we did it and now it's fixed forever, because chances are that something else may cause it. It's a very complicated thing. And so I think I think that was you, Quasel, that maybe brought it up, where
Yeah.
I think the more communication about that, and maybe it's just the fact that the CMs or the mods, you guys don't have that info.
Yeah.
But I think it may be in the messaging, like, hey, lag for this thing has been addressed. We think it's there. Please let us know if you see anything different.
Yeah.
That kind of thing lets us know as the consumer, okay, when they're talking lag, it's for this thing. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that it's for these other things, right? That's the key in the communication pieces. They need to be a little bit more clear.
Yeah.
And yes,
Mhm.
we're a pain in the rear, but they
Yeah.
need to be, they got to kind of trust us a bit as much as they want us to trust them. And I think if we can get that, it'll be a little bit better. So,
Yeah,
anyways.
absolutely agree with that. The one thing that from Connor's blog that he brought up, which is quite interesting, that I don't think a lot of us do, you need to be quite specific with lag, because when we report lag as moderators and the CMs do it and so on, we have to be specific. We go, what is the lag? The lag is I'm moving a ship from A to B and it's not moving, or the battle is taking a bit longer, or the chess pull is being longer. All three things are not the same lag. They're all different lags. And it's the key thing for everybody as you give your feedback back to the team is you go, hey guys, there is lag. What I did was I pulled a chest and it took long for the chest to pull. That was when I noticed lag. And if you say that little extra sentence, they will reach a conclusion to that lag way quicker than you saying there's lag. But what does that mean? Everything's lagging. No. When was the moment your lag started? And that moment could be the start of where they find the original problem and how they fix it. And that will be very, very important to do that. And Quasel, you bring a very good point up, but I won't quote you word for word with regards to that. But you says, also they can't just provide communication all the time that leads to false player expectation on their side. So if they keep putting dates on things, or they putting times on things, which is what's terrifying to do, is very hard. They could just continue that. Well, the known issues channel is very good at being quite specific, saying, hey guys, we're aware of the lag issues and are looking into it. And I think our jobs as players is to give them specific information on lag. But we do have George now on the stage. George, what are your comments on all this?
I'm agreeing with Nigel
Oh, wow.
and Sniper,
Okay.
because we do, as players or as consumers, need to tell Scopely exactly what their lag is. Just saying it's a lag does not solve it, because there was three effects this month. One was the new arc. The graphics was causing lags. That was their part. I explained it to them. And then the other one is when there could be internet
Yeah.
issues, like we're seeing as a client. They're not seeing. We have to explain it to them so they could look at it and look at their coding of what's coming in and coming out.
Yeah.
The third one was last night, the other one was weather related. Scopely should have said something because there was a lot of their games, and I've been busy with a lot of data centers the last 19 hours. We had a major solar
Yeah.
flare that
Yeah.
caused a lot of electrical issues.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
See, there you go.
Yeah. There you go.
but
That's
we should explain as a client to them, say, hey, saying like I'm in the VIP saying, oh, I have lag, but why am I? They always ask me, why do you have it? And I explain it to them, DMing them, and say, this is what I'm having. Within a couple hours, they either say, okay, we're experiencing it, we're solving it, or they solve it
Yeah, true.
shortly.
Now, George, I'm going to come with a rebuttal. I love that word, rebuttal, because ascendancy, because it's we're all about balance here, so we have to show both sides, and I'm always determined to do that. Ascendancy say he disagrees here. Scopely will have the tools to know 100% what the issue is their end. We have this in our production in the AWS estate. We know before the ticket comes in from the customers, no one's looking in his honest opinion. That's his that. What are your thoughts, George, to that one? Is that something that can be true as well? So hopefully, Scopely can be encouraged to maybe keep an eye on the tickets and the issues their end.
Yes,
Great.
yes, they should.
So that's both sides of of that being put in, just to make sure. And Crisito, your
Yeah, because
thoughts
if
on
we
that?
complain to our
Yeah,
AWS or
yeah,
any of our
yeah,
providers, internet providers, they get to Scopely too, and the Scopely IT team would see it
yeah. True.
and should resolve it.
Yeah. Let's give Crisito the floor now. Crisito, buddy.
Yeah, and Nigel, one thing to keep in mind as well, right? Because there's the difference between the client side and the server side. And I think I'm not sure who had mentioned that in the post,
Yeah.
but yes, they should be able to look at their network traffic and determine things, have alarms, all bells and whistles, all that things that are letting them know.
Yeah.
On the other side, on the client side,
Yeah.
that's a difficult thing because that's the personal device,
Yes.
right? And so it could be that you're rocking the best PC in the world. You could have the best speed, but you may have the jitter, right? Getting down into technical, where your signal may be not good.
Yeah.
It's fast, but it's just not good quality. So I think there is some things that I think what George is trying to say is we need to at least let them know when I was trying to do this, because the first thing they should look at is they're going to look at the server side and say, hey, that's solid. It may be on the client side. So again, lag is tough. I'm sure NetNet can probably get into a little bit more,
Yeah.
but that's always just a struggle, especially when you have as many users you are, as many devices are out there, what the minimum spec, all of that stuff can come into it. And again, if we want it to be better, yes, we expect it, especially those folks that, spend some money on it.
Yeah.
We've also got to kind of be a little bit kind of good stewards to give them the information to help it make it better as well, right? I think that is some bit of a necessity from us.
Yeah. True. Sniper, you've got some thoughts here.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that, because it's also an area I'm pretty familiar with, like George,
Yeah.
and so I think sometimes things, as everyone was mentioning, could be caused by many different things happening. Sometimes it could be core infrastructure stuff, like George was talking about, that causes widespread, you know, outages beyond control of anyone, like things like solar flares, like nobody can control that, right?
Yeah, of course.
But sometimes it could come down to something very specific, in the code that's not as easy to, identify ahead of time. Maybe the database is working right, maybe the servers are working fine, you're not getting any spikes in anything, and so no alarms are necessarily going off. But some uh, piece of code is impacted, right? Or something got cached in a bad state, right? There's all sorts of things that could potentially, happen on a more logical layer. That the more detailed you understand what the issue is, or specifically where the problem is happening, is it chest pulls? Is it movement? These could be all separate, pieces of the total stack, if you will, not to get too complicated into whole IT aspect of it, but there are different things and different areas to look into, and the sooner that they could, isolate which particular area to look into,
Yeah.
the potential quicker time it is to the resolution. So I do think it is important to be as detailed as possible, as I think we're all kind of have agreed to and said on
Yeah.
this call whenever possible, because like just generic lag, which sometimes does happen, like if there is, as George mentioned, bigger issue, right? It could just affect every aspect. But oftentimes we bundle that together with more individualized things like, slowness when pulling a chest or slowness when doing another particular thing. So it is helpful to be detailed as possible.
Yeah, that's true, and we won't get into further into that one at the moment because I know what lag is like.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure that people understood. Jim Pi has made a very very good point, and I wanted to read it out for a bit. NetNiv, thanks for keeping the mod alive. It makes gameplay 100 times better on a PC. I wish I could play on PC all the time due to the mod. So he thanks you personally for allowing that opportunity and making that happen. So thank you, NetNiv, for keeping that mod alive with that one. Spectre says the move to Unity 6 gives them a smorgasbord of improved tooling to deal with the client-side performance analysis as well. KJ, you've popped on. Any thoughts on anything?
Hey, sorry, I had to go earlier. My family called. I think that it's important to remember that not all of us are AWS, Redis, Unity, IP, IT, experts. It's not our job. We're the end user. I'm sorry, but this is the radiating the positivity. If somebody's reporting lag on the Discord server, which is a very, very small percentage of users in this game, then they need to look into it, right? Or they need to make a button, next to the home screen or Galaxy that says experiencing lag, and then they have the logs from that. But you can't expect people to be so dang detailed. I'm just a stupid flight attendant that serves Coke and peanuts all dang day.
That is finally a true statement right there. There we
right?
go.
Like I don't need to. I'm not the person that needs to analyze it, look at the root cause, and open up the dev panel and tell you that I'm having a 0.3 second delay in something. I'm
Well,
the end user. They're the provider.
yeah, true.
So,
Sniper.
KJ, I'll just counterpoint that real quick. I don't
No, you
think
cannot, Sniper.
Yes, he
I
can.
can,
Yes, he can.
I can do it actually, KJ. I would say that it's nobody's looking to the players necessarily, although we do have quite a lot of technical players, but that play this game. But no one's necessarily looking to the average player to self-diagnose the cause of the issue. I think the details they're talking about is not, what is causing it or down to that, but like what specific aspect of the game is impacted. So, for example, as you're talking about, flight attendant, right? Like if you imagine someone saying, "I have a problem with my flight," or the flight's a problem, the next natural question you ask is, okay, what about the flight? Are you not getting your peanuts fast enough? Is the flight being too slow? Is your seat not
No,
comfortable?
no, Sniper.
If they just say,
No,
I
Sniper.
have a
Sniper.
problem with my flight, right?
Yeah, the
Like,
answer, if you tell me that you have a problem with your flight, I'm very sorry that you are experiencing a problem with your flight. Please visit our customer service website and file a
Oh,
ticket.
oh my God! You're one of those people. KJ's one of those
you went
people.
there.
KJ, I want my peanuts roasted, and I demand them at the beginning of the flight. That's why I
Listen,
requested it.
if you're trying to ask me to fly the plane, or you're trying to ask me to if your bag got on, guess what? I don't know. But if you want a Diet Coke or you want some peanuts, I got that for you, brother. And if they want the logs, just put a very simple button that says I'm experiencing trouble right next to the exterior button. And guess what? You could automatically send Scopely the logs. If they wanted to know, they have the ability to have us give them that information.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
But you
Exactly.
need
what
to
if I
use
wanted
middle
Dr. Pepper?
traces.
That's the question.
Yeah,
I
true.
wanted the Dr. Pepper instead of Coke,
Yeah, exactly. Let's give Diclo the floor, and then we're going to stop this conversation because it's I think people are like the numbers are dropping.
Pointless.
Yeah, which is
Oh,
insane.
I just want KJ to send fiddler logs next time.
Exactly. That'll be amazing, guys. This
Is
is
that a
the
freaking Broadway show, bro? What's
yeah,
that?
yeah. It's like KJ. You guys can have a discussion on that one. I appreciate everyone here and appreciate everyone sort of coming across. We've done a very, very good show with loads of detail, with 3 critical hints, which I will repeat here, is that I want to ensure that the free-to-play players, you pull every single chest you can to get the Excelsior blueprint as fast as humanly possible. Because the sooner you do it, the better the future is for you. And the 3 officers that you should focus on massively is Wok Carroll. Other than PQ, Wok Carroll, Section 31 Giorgio, and Quasi, because you need your Apex shred to be really, really high. Focus on those things. Those are critical updates to have, and we will see. They will be looking at merges, anything like that, in the next few months, so keep an eye out for those updates. A lot of people have put their servers in for merges, so we've done what we can. I think this has been really productive, really fun, really great, and I appreciate everybody for bringing it together. And look, I'm going to pull in about 30 minutes a winner for the merch for this week. You can claim up to $100 of one item that you can have from the merch store. So you can pull that, includes all shipping, includes everything. It'll all be covered by it. So I ask you to pull one item only. So make sure you're part of the website as a member so that you can do that. If you do spend any money this month, it goes to HWA. We're about a quarter of the way through. I'd love to get more. And the rest of it goes to STFC.pro. So I want to make sure I give them a really nice big woot for that one. So if people could help, any donations, all really useful. I'd love to do that. Also, KJ's banditprint.com has a fantastic set of really good Valentine's Day gifts. I'm actually going to get one or two, but I might have to put a fake name down and a fake address so he doesn't know who I am. Especially the bear. I really like the bear, the clicky thing. And I actually like the big flower that eats you, which I think is quite cool. There's loads of really good stuff there. VOTP would be great. Sandra's like, are Quasi and Quasel related? No, one's an absolute annoying, really, and then the other one has a yellow banner, and then does green stuff. So yeah, you've just got to choose which one I'm talking about at that point in time. So that'd be great. I will, of course, ruin the whole video by putting just the bog standard Quasel logo on there. Every character I've created is really boring, so everything like that. But that's been really exciting. Join the website if you want to win some merch. It's free. Kelrick and Simon Says picked some great items. He picked the bomber jacket, which is absolutely wicked, with the command thing on. Diclo, any final thoughts before I end this all?
Yeah, I do have one question that's been bugging me, and I never
on.
got an answer on the VIP server.
Of course, go
Maybe
ahead.
somebody else here can answer it.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Syndicate 64, you're supposed to get a third multi or an exocomp multi-purpose slot.
Yes.
I got one at Syndicate 64 though, and I asked about it on private server, but I never got a response. Why?
Yeah.
Or what?
No, so the moment you get there, the idea is in a gift chest, like how we got the challenge EXO, it should appear in the gift chest and you should do so. If you haven't, just tell the CM to initiate the gift chest and that should pop up for you straight away once you get through it. And then that will be the way on how it works. So again, Section 31 Giorgio, Walk Carol, Quasi or Quasel, and yeah, and it'd be a great show. And then I'll be pulling the winner in 30 minutes. So join in the website. Please help me. I'm begging you to help me because I need to get the numbers to give 50 BPs and 50 $100 packs a month. But I need to hit the number, which is going to be insane. And please go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, like to the things. If you want to watch the emotional video that KJ cried at, which he did cry, he confirmed to me that he actually cried to my video, then please do that again. The number's quite hard, Maktako. I could get over 1,000 subscribers, and I need to, on the website, need to have either paid members at tier 1, 2, or 3, which are quite high, which we're getting close to, but we're still about 17 away. So 17 more people and stuff like that. But I appreciate you all. What a great show. What a great service. Everyone was superb except NetNiv, who was really boring and no one cares about because we love him and we love the mod the mod channel. Please support the mod. Please go to Quasel, support them. Please go to Spock's Club and donate to them. Please help STFC.pro. We will be supporting them as well. We love everyone. We love all the CCs. And I appreciate you all. And until next time. Goodbye.
Nigel.
No.
Hold on, Nigel. When are we going to get your birthday comp gift? You're supposed Copley should give us a birthday Nigel gift.
And with that, George has ruined the show, and we're going to end it with the music. See you later, and goodbye. Dog, love you. KJ, Ascendancy, Adrenaline Worlder, Josh C, KJ, love you. Taco's right, George ruined it. Hello, D. Spectre, JPCS. Why does everyone have to take the piss out of me? I was having a lovely time. Keep dropping out, people. Thank you very much. Hey, Tosh. Love you, buddy. Some great people here we had today. It's absolutely been loads of fun. Even Quasel had some good points, and NetNiv is awesome. Hit it! Chronox, Raider 72, love you. Crazy. And the pirate, warp speed ahead. Dog Holiday, haven't heard from you in ages. I miss you, buddy. Where are you? Jaybird, Sniper, oh. Killer Angel, JPCS, Sandra, Aries, E11E11E11E11E. Maflap, love you. I'm gonna get those 50 points off you. Jim P.I., love it. Flossie, love that one. Jules, the legend, was even listening, and he hasn't dissed me once, which is really weird, and I feel really odd. And the pirate is associate producer. Thank you very much. Ghost Pepper, Forgone Shields, Montako, Fuel. Commander George Simon says, and that's the end, and the song's slated, so you can't get any more. Please join on the website. Love you all. See you later, and goodbye. Until next time. Ha ha ha!